we'll go to the next one. How do living expenses differ between the Hawaiian Islands or various regions? So we touched a little bit on this. I mean, the healthcare component is one of the components, but any other thoughts from your side? I mean, for me, one of the things that people need to realize in my aspect, what I would say is everything gets shipped into Oahu first and then gets shipped to the outer islands. So from that standpoint, there's going to be a cost to that.
Yeah, and again, I can't necessarily put numbers on it, but it does affect. I mean, think about lumber having to come in here, for construction projects and whatnot that it can't be flown in here, so it's barged in here, like Scott said, to Oahu first, and then to the outer islands. There's a port on this side, on the west side, that brings a barge in, and there's a port on the Hilo side, on the east side. Again, cars, anything you can't put on an airplane, or is too big, or large quantities of food or whatever it might be. So there definitely is a cost component in that. Generally speaking, though, because we have a lot of land here, although not a lot of it is designated residential, houses are still less expensive on the Big Island than they are on Maui or Oahu. The thing about the Big Island is that, gas is more expensive, and we do travel. We have distances to go. But I also want to say this. Part of the driving here is, like, people ask about, it's one of the common questions. Don't you ever get island fever, whatever? I mean, the Big Island is very rural. We can do a lot of road time on the Big Island, open road. You see wild goats, occasionally wild sheep, sometimes wild pigs. So we do have the component where gas is more expensive on the Big Island. Scott, back to you.
Well, I mean, you hit an important component there, which was I always say Oahu's the city and the outer islands are country, and the Big Island is that in that capacity. And in doing so, your housing is much more affordable there than it is here. I mean, our median price is $1.185 million this month. That's not cheap. And our condos are basically $500,000 for a median price. So from the housing standpoint, Oahu is much more expensive. I do feel like goods in general are slightly more affordable, 10%, maybe 15%, max. More affordable on Oahu, and we have more options because we are the city. And what you guys get that we don't get here is direct access to more farmers in the rural capacity, which allows you to go direct. Farmers markets are huge over there. Man, if I lived back over there, I would be going to farmers markets every weekend. I mean, it's just fresh. Yeah. It's right there. You are sourcing directly from the local farmer, and that.
Yeah, it's nice. And like I said, they're events. I mean, it's a nice event. And Waimea is one of the main towns, but you go to Kona, there's farmers markets there as well. Now it has gotten a little more expensive because a lot of these farmers, it's better for them to sell a lot of product to grocery stores, which they do. So there is some of both. But no, it's definitely, man, we get some great produce on this island. So eat your vegetables.
I would say our automobile gas prices, the same thing happens here. Yep. It comes into Oahu first, then goes to the outer islands. And in doing so, like, I've always bought in Waikoloa and whatnot whenever I'm over there. And it's probably 20 cents more expensive on the Big Island than it is here on Oahu.
And it's less expensive if you go to Costco. I try to get my gas. I try to get my gas when I'm in Kona around Costco. If I have to stop at a gas station up at this side, I'll put $20 in or $25, because I'm not gonna. Because some of it's like $1 a gallon, and you go, it's no big deal. Well, no, let's say you got a 13-gallon tank. That's $13 if you're empty. Okay, but you go to Kona, it's $1 less per gallon. That's $13. Now, if you fill up, whatever, 100 times a year, now you're talking about $1,300, and unless my math stinks, which it does. But anyways, that's a lot of money over the course of a year. That's a few trips to Oahu, to go down to Waikiki and visit some of the local restaurants and nightclubs.
Or to go to visit your doctor.
Oh, after I go to those nightclubs, you're damn right I have to visit my doctor. Kill two dead birds with one stone. Anyways.
But that, I mean, that, if you can understand that general premise, right? I mean, even from a delivery standpoint from Amazon, we have a distribution center here now. So from a distribution standpoint for getting goods through Amazon, Oahu's going to get them quicker than Outer Islands, right? Most of it comes in here and then goes out to the Outer Islands.
You have a distribution center out, right? And obviously they can't have everything that's available at one distribution center. But yeah, and Amazon's convenient as hell, but I got to tell you, I'm not inclined to, I don't do as much shopping nearly as I used to on Amazon, mainly because it's part of the time of my life. I mean, I look around and go, there's 20 things I can get rid of. And I go online and think there's 20 things I just don't need. I literally, I think it's one component of shopping. When I go into your Walmarts and your Targets, I look at people's carts and I think I could save you several $100s just by telling you to put a bunch of that stuff back that you don't need that plastic container that you're going to put some clothes. Anyways, that's a different subject, but that is part of shopping here is what don't you need? I mean, I only have one swimsuit. I don't have 5 or I don't have 7. I mean, just because I see one I like on Amazon doesn't mean I'm going to buy it. So
that brings up so I always call Hawaii the humble state. And the reason I say that is because, for one, it's expensive to live here, and you got to understand that. 2, we typically have very small homes and small land. And I mean, how many of the homes built in the 1960s, 70s, and maybe even into the 80s had very few single wall, but very few storage closets. I mean, those single wall construction homes in the 60s and 70s had one hallway closet. They had one pantry closet in the kitchen. You didn't have a whole lot because they had a carport as well. And in doing so, your rooms were 10 by 10 with
a small closet, 2 Aloha shirts, one for a funeral, one for a wedding, and a few t-shirts. I mean, literally, if you want to see a whole bunch of people in shorts and t-shirts and have no idea how much they make or don't make, come to Hawaii. I mean, you don't need a big wardrobe here. So,
well, and you don't feel like you have to keep up with the Joneses either. So there's not that social pressure of having to do that. But we live in very smaller spaces, and it teaches you to live with less, and you become significantly, I don't want to say used to it, but it's more you're happy and content with less, and you understand that. And
go jump in the ocean. And instead of buying the $25 shirt on Amazon, and you'll feel like $1 million, and you'll save $25. So
At the same time, I ordered 4 things from Amazon like 3 days ago. So I'm constantly ordering from Amazon. I mean, I've been even in Home Depot, and I'm like, well, I can't find this thing. Where the heck is it? And then I get frustrated because they don't have exactly what I want. I'm like, the hell with it. I'm not going to go to Lowe's. I'm going to order it off of Amazon.
So. Yeah. And I admit I still do. But I just, it's basically, do I really need and if I need something, sure, I order it. And if Amazon's a better deal, I'll go with Amazon. I mean, it's not like I've completely removed myself from that, but it's convenient, especially in the middle of the Pacific. Let's face it.
Yep. So to end that out, living expenses differ between the Hawaiian Islands. and various regions on the island. There's a few components to understand there, but most is similar for the most part.